There is an English saying which goes in this way: an unexamined life is not worth living. This is not told by any common person in this world, but this is told by Socrates the Great. Socrates, the philosopher, the thinker, and definitely when he said this, he was not joking. He had his own reasons to say this. This statement, the unexamined life is not worth living, is not a common statement too. You can find it in many other competitive exams. This statement is being asked. Well, what did he mean when he said that an unexamined life is not worth living? When we are discussing this, kindly check out your life, how it is. Is it examined? Is it worth living? Because most of the times we think our life is not worth living. We go into that phase of worthlessness where we consider our life to be worthless. We think that our life is not having the value it should actually get from the people. Well, those things aside, let's focus to the statement, the unexamined life is not worth living. When he said this, he meant that if a person is focusing on living under the rules and regulations that are set by certain other people, then his life may not be worth living. Well, when he said this, it may be true that he came across those kind of people who were around him, and he found that these people are living according to the rules and regulations set by certain other people, and they are spoiling their life. He had his own reasons to say whatever he wanted to say. Well, the fact is, this statement doesn't mean actually that every other person who is having a job, who is going through a salary, who is employed under someone, have a worthless life. No, it doesn't mean that. It means that whether you have an attitude of examining yourself or not. If you have an attitude, well and good. If you don't, then your life is worthless, not worth living. Well, it all depends upon your personal preferences, When you are working under someone, what is your preferences? What are your preferences? When you are working for yourself, what are your preferences? If you're working for yourself and still not happy with you, then still life is not worth living. But if you are working under someone, unlike the statement that was given by Socrates, but if you're still happy in your life, having fulfilled all your objectives, whatever you wanted to fulfill, then yes, you are having a beautiful life to live. It all depends how you examine your life. It all depends the objective that are set inside your head. There are two things in life which actually make you believe whether things going around you is right or wrong. The two things are the competing demand and the competing preferences. A very difficult word to understand, right? You may think what exactly these are. Well, the competing demand means the normal demand that we have. The only thing is it's an alternative behavior which we have inside us under the normal personality. Demands that we want to fulfill in our life. Then we have competing preferences in our life. Those preferences about which we say, I prefer to do this, I prefer to do that. Well, you can take this or understand this with a very simple example. When a child cries for his toy or a toy that he see in the shop, he is demanding. And whenever he is demanding, he is asking for that toy, and that toy is actually driving the kid crazy. Well, when you say, I prefer to do this or I prefer to have this, you have an estimation inside your head. There is a wisdom working, there is an intelligence working inside your head, and you decide out of many which is appropriate for you. So when you say that I prefer something, that shows your maturity to select something appropriate out of many Well, when you say, this is my demand, that I want so and so etc. thing, that particular thing comes out of your immaturity, because that particular thing is actually making you go crazy. Now, when I say demand, don't think about, I'm not speaking about the demand from that commercial field or something related to the economics. No, I'm speaking about the thought process that we have inside. When I demand something, that particular stuff is actually making me go crazy. It is actually making me believe that if I don't have that product, or if I don't have that particular thing, a person, or whatever thing is, a toy, my life will not be easy. The competing demand takes away your strength. The competing demand takes away your authority. While the competing preferences make you much more stronger. And there is no doubt, undoubtedly, a mature person will always prefer competing preferences, and an immature person will usually go with competing demands. This is what happens with the people who are criminals, right? They have a demand to fulfill, a competing demand. I want to have this, I need to do this. And when that competing demand actually crosses the limit, they do that stuff just because that particular stuff demands it from them. I need that particular jewelry from that shop. That jewelry is making them go crazy. They are losing their strength. They are not able to have a control on themselves, and thus the competing demand makes them weak and weaker. While preferences, I prefer to be a doctor, I prefer to be an engineer, I prefer to be a nurse, I prefer to be so and so, astronaut, scientist. It is your preference, not your demand. You actually go through a lot of study, you go through a lot of hard work and all the education that is required for that. You put your efforts into it, and finally you reach to that point. And if by chance, if you're not able to reach to that point, still you believe that you have achieved the knowledge which you were supposed to have. Well, that makes us understand that an unexamined life is worthless, is not worth living. You need to examine between your demands and your preferences. And when you do that, automatically you understand what is right for you and what is not. You understand when you are matured and when you are not. And that will help you to grow more, even more ahead in your life, and stay away from all the negativity which will put you down. Keeping your demands different and your preferences different, and making your life worth living.